In the heart of the whispering woods, nestled among the towering trees and the murmuring streams, lived an ogre named Shrek. With his green skin, fierce scowl, and towering stature, Shrek was feared and misunderstood by all who knew of him. Content to live a solitary life in his swamp, he shunned the outside world and its inhabitants, preferring the company of his solitude to the noise and chaos of society. But beneath his rough exterior lay a heart burdened by loneliness and longing. Despite his efforts to convince himself otherwise, Shrek yearned for companionship, for a friend who would see past his fearsome appearance and embrace him for who he truly was. Yet, the world had taught him to expect rejection and ridicule, leaving him bitter and resentful towards those who dared to approach his domain. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into years, Shrek resigned himself to a life of solitude, convinced that he was destined to remain alone forever. Little did he know, fate had other plans in store for him, plans that would set him on a path he never could have imagined. One fateful day, as Shrek was going about his solitary routine, gathering mud to wallow in and scaring off any unwelcome visitors, he heard an unfamiliar sound echoing through the trees. It was the braying of a donkey, loud and persistent, drawing closer with each passing moment. Irritated by the intrusion, Shrek stomped towards the source of the noise, ready to give whoever dared to disturb his peace a piece of his mind. Emerging from the dense foliage, Shrek came face to face with a peculiar sight: a small, talkative donkey with a twinkle in his eye and a grin plastered on his face. Undeterred by Shrek's intimidating presence, the donkey prattled on, oblivious to the ogre's growing irritation. "Hey there, big fella. What's a fine ogre like yourself doing in a dreary place like this? Oh, wait, let me guess, you're here to rescue a princess, right? I've heard all about your kind-hearted nature and your penchant for noble quests. Well, lucky for you, I happen to be an expert in princess rescuing." Shrek blinked in disbelief, unsure whether to be amused or annoyed by the donkey's incessant chatter. Before he could respond, the donkey launched into a flurry of questions, bombarding Shrek with inquiries about his life, his preferences, and his thoughts on the latest gossip from the kingdom. Caught off guard by the donkey's relentless enthusiasm, Shrek found himself begrudgingly intrigued by the little creature's infectious energy. Despite his initial reservations, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of curiosity about the donkey's outlandish claims and his seemingly genuine desire to befriend the grumpy ogre. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the tranquil landscape, Shrek and the donkey found themselves engaged in an unexpected conversation, sharing stories and exchanging laughter under the starlit sky. And in that fleeting moment of connection, amidst the laughter and the chatter, Shrek felt a glimmer of hope stir within his heart, the hope that perhaps, against all odds, he had finally found the friend he had been searching for all along. With the dawn of a new day, Shrek and the donkey stood at the crossroads of destiny, their paths intertwined by fate's mysterious design. As the morning mist enveloped the landscape in a soft embrace, Shrek made a decision that would change the course of his life forever. "All right, donkey," he grumbled begrudgingly, "if you're so keen on rescuing princesses, then let's see what you're made of. But don't expect me to hold your hoof every step of the way." The donkey's eyes widened with excitement, his ears twitching with anticipation. "You won't regret this, Shrek. Together, we'll make the perfect team, the brave ogre and the witty donkey, on a quest to save the day." And so, with a begrudging nod from Shrek and a triumphant bray from the donkey, the unlikely duo set off into the unknown, their hearts filled with determination and their spirits ablaze with the promise of adventure. Their journey took them through enchanted forests and treacherous swamps, past towering castles and bustling villages, each step bringing them closer to their elusive goal. Along the way, they encountered a motley crew of characters, from mischievous fairies to grumpy trolls, each adding their own unique flavor to the tapestry of their adventure. Despite their differences, Shrek and the donkey forged a bond stronger than steel, their friendship tested by trials and tribulations, yet enduring against all odds. Together, they faced down fearsome foes and outwitted cunning adversaries, their courage and wit shining bright in the darkest of moments. And as they drew nearer to their destination, the towering castle where the princess lay imprisoned, Shrek and the donkey knew that their greatest challenge still lay ahead. But with their friendship as their guide and their hearts as their compass, they were ready to face whatever dangers lay in wait, knowing that together, they were unstoppable. As they journeyed onwards, Shrek found himself increasingly impressed by the donkey's resourcefulness and quick thinking. Despite his initial doubts, he couldn't deny the donkey's knack for getting them out of sticky situations and his unwavering optimism in the face of adversity. "Say, donkey," Shrek rumbled, casting a sideways glance at his companion, "how is it that you always seem to have a solution for every problem we encounter?" The donkey grinned, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Ah, Shrek, my friend, it's all about perspective. You see, while you may be big and strong, I've got something even more powerful on my side, the power of positivity." Shrek raised an eyebrow skeptically. "Positivity, you say? What good is that when we're faced with a fire-breathing dragon or an army of angry villagers?" The donkey chuckled, patting Shrek on the arm. "Ah, but that's where you're wrong, my friend. Positivity isn't just about looking on the bright side, it's about finding the silver lining in every cloud, the glimmer of hope in the darkest of nights. With a little bit of optimism and a whole lot of determination, there's nothing we can't overcome together." And so, armed with the donkey's sage advice and unwavering optimism, Shrek and his companion pressed onwards, their spirits buoyed by the promise of adventure and the bond of friendship that held them together. For in the heart of every great hero lies the wisdom of a humble companion, guiding them on their journey towards destiny. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the enchanted forest, Shrek and the donkey encountered a series of challenges that tested the strength of their newfound friendship. First, they stumbled upon a rickety bridge spanning a yawning chasm, its rotting planks groaning underfoot. With a mighty roar, Shrek prepared to leap across the gap, his powerful legs coiled like springs. But before he could make the jump, the donkey grabbed his arm, his eyes wide with concern. "Wait, Shrek. I have an idea," the donkey exclaimed, his voice tinged with excitement. "Why risk life and limb when we can simply outsmart our way across?" With a mischievous twinkle in his eye, the donkey set to work, fashioning a makeshift bridge out of fallen branches and tangled vines. With each careful step, they inched their way across the chasm, their hearts pounding with anticipation. And when they finally reached the other side, their laughter echoed through the forest, triumphant and free. But their victory was short-lived, for lurking in the shadows of the trees, a band of mischievous pixies lay in wait, their playful antics threatening to derail our hero's progress. With their magic spells and misdirection, the pixies sought to confuse and confound Shrek and the donkey, leading them astray in the labyrinthine forest. Yet, despite the pixies' best efforts, Shrek and the donkey stood firm, their friendship a beacon of strength in the face of adversity. With their wits sharp and their spirits unyielding, they outsmarted the pixies at their own game, emerging victorious once more, and so, with each challenge they faced and each obstacle they overcame, Shrek and the donkey grew closer, their bond forged in the fires of adventure and tempered by the trials of the journey ahead. For in the heart of every great quest lies the true test of friendship, and in the end, it is the strength of that bond that will carry them through to the end. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, Shrek and the donkey stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an eerie light. At its center stood a towering castle, its turrets reaching towards the sky like jagged teeth. But it was not the sight of the castle that sent a shiver down Shrek's spine, it was the unmistakable sound of a fearsome roar echoing from within its walls. The princess must be held captive in that castle, the donkey whispered, his voice barely audible above the din, but it seems we're not the only ones who seek her rescue. Sure enough, as they approached the castle gates, they were met by a fearsome sight, a fire-breathing dragon, its scales shimmering in the moonlight as it stood guard over its precious treasure. With each thunderous beat of its wings, the dragon unleashed a torrent of flames, sending waves of heat rippling through the air. Shrek clenched his fists, his eyes narrowing in determination. "Stand back, donkey. This is no ordinary foe we face, this is a dragon, and it will take all of our strength and cunning to defeat it." But before Shrek could make a move, the donkey stepped forward, his gaze fixed on the dragon with unwavering resolve. "Wait, Shrek. I have an idea." And with that, the donkey began to sing, a lilting melody that rose above the roar of the flames and the beating of the dragon's wings. Mesmerized by the donkey's song, the dragon's fierce gaze softened, its fiery breaths growing fainter with each passing moment. As the last notes of the donkey's song faded into the night, the dragon bowed its head in surrender, its eyes filled with tears of gratitude. And in that moment of unexpected kindness, Shrek and the donkey knew that their quest was far from over, for beyond the castle walls lay the true test of their courage and the ultimate reward that awaited them. With the dragon subdued, Shrek and the donkey made their way into the castle, their hearts pounding with anticipation. But as they ventured deeper into its shadowy halls, they were met with a sight that took them by surprise, a group of unlikely allies, gathered together in the dim light of the dungeon. At the forefront stood a band of fairy tale creatures, from talking mice to singing teapots, each one bearing the scars of their own battles and the hope of a brighter future. And leading them was none other than Princess Fiona herself, her fiery spirit undimmed by the trials she had endured. "Shrek, you've come to rescue me," Fiona exclaimed, her eyes shining with relief. "But how did you manage to defeat the dragon?" Shrek chuckled, casting a glance at the donkey by his side. "It wasn't me who defeated the dragon, Fiona. It was this brave little donkey here, with his cleverness and his courage." The donkey blushed, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. "Ah, shucks, it was nothing really. Just a little song and dance to charm the beast into submission." But Fiona shook her head in amazement, her admiration clear in her eyes. "Well, whatever you did, it worked. And for that, I am eternally grateful." And so, with their unlikely allies by their side, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey embarked on the final leg of their journey, a daring escape from the clutches of the castle and the promise of a future filled with hope and adventure. For in the darkest of dungeons and the fiercest of battles, it is the bonds of friendship that shine brightest of all, guiding us through the darkest nights and into the light of a new day. As they made their way through the castle's labyrinthine corridors, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey found themselves confronted by a series of obstacles that tested not only their strength, but also their ability to work together as a team. At one point, they encountered a massive, iron gate barring their path, its surface adorned with intricate locks and mechanisms. Shrek, with his immense strength, attempted to force the gate open with brute force, but to no avail. Fiona, with her sharp intellect, studied the locks and gears, searching for a way to unlock the gate, but her efforts proved fruitless. It was the donkey who finally came up with a solution, using his nimble hooves to navigate the complex mechanisms and disarm the traps that guarded the gate. With a triumphant click, the locks disengaged, and the gate swung open, revealing a path forward. But their challenges were far from over. As they ventured deeper into the castle's depths, they encountered a series of puzzles and riddles, each more perplexing than the last. Yet, with each obstacle they faced, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey learned to rely on each other's strengths and support each other's weaknesses, forging a bond that grew stronger with every step they took. And when they finally emerged into the cool night air, leaving the castle behind them, they did so not as strangers thrown together by circumstance, but as friends united by a common purpose. For in the face of adversity, it is our differences that make us strong, and our willingness to embrace those differences that leads us towards victory. As they journeyed further away from the castle, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey stumbled upon a hidden path leading to the lair of the dragon. Tucked away in a remote corner of the forest, the dragon's den loomed large and ominous, its entrance guarded by a thick curtain of vines and thorns. With a determined glint in his eye, Shrek led the way, his powerful strides cutting through the dense undergrowth. Fiona followed close behind, her sword at the ready, while the donkey trotted along beside them, his ears perked up in anticipation. As they approached the entrance to the dragon's lair, a low rumble echoed from within, sending shivers down their spines. But Shrek pressed onwards, his resolve unwavering in the face of danger. With a mighty roar, the dragon emerged from the shadows, its massive form filling the entrance to the cave. Its scales gleamed in the dim light, and its eyes burned with an intense fury. But Shrek stood his ground, his fists clenched at his sides. "We've come to rescue the princess," he declared, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "And we won't let anything stand in our way." The dragon snarled, its claws digging into the earth as it prepared to strike. But before it could unleash its fury, Fiona stepped forward, her sword raised high. "We don't want to fight you," she said, her voice calm yet firm. "We only want to free the princess and put an end to this madness." The dragon hesitated, its gaze flickering between the trio before it. And in that moment of uncertainty, Shrek saw an opportunity. "Listen, dragon," he said, his voice softening. "We understand that you're just trying to protect what's yours. But the princess doesn't belong here, she deserves to be free." With a low growl, the dragon stepped aside, allowing Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey to enter the lair. And as they ventured deeper into its depths, they knew that their greatest challenge still lay ahead, but with their courage and their friendship as their guide, they were ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. As they ventured deeper into the dragon's lair, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey found themselves face to face with the princess, who was bound in chains and guarded by the fearsome dragon. The princess's eyes widened in surprise and hope as she saw her unexpected rescuers. Shrek. Fiona. "You've come to save me," she exclaimed, her voice filled with relief, but their joy was short-lived, for the dragon stood between them and the princess, its massive form blocking their path. "We need to distract the dragon," Fiona whispered to Shrek and the donkey. "While it's focused on us, you two need to free the princess." With a nod of understanding, Shrek and the donkey sprang into action, engaging the dragon in a fierce battle while Fiona worked to free the princess from her chains. The dragon roared with fury, lashing out with its claws and breathing streams of fire. But Shrek and the donkey fought bravely, dodging its attacks and landing blows of their own. Meanwhile, Fiona worked quickly to free the princess, her hands deftly working the locks and chains. And when the last chain fell away, the princess sprang to her feet, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You've saved me from a fate worse than death." But their victory was short-lived, for the dragon, enraged by their interference, launched itself at them with renewed fury. With a mighty roar, it knocked Shrek and the donkey aside, sending them tumbling to the ground. But before it could strike the final blow, Fiona stepped forward, her sword raised high. With a swift motion, she plunged the blade into the dragon's heart, vanquishing the beast once and for all. As the dragon slumped to the ground, defeated, Shrek and the donkey staggered to their feet, bruised but victorious. And as they stood together, surrounded by the ruins of the dragon's lair, they knew that their journey was far from over, but with their courage and their friendship as their guide, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. With the dragon vanquished and the princess freed from her chains, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey emerged from the depths of the lair, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of triumph and camaraderie. As they made their way back through the forest, their steps light and their spirits high, they reflected on the journey they had undertaken together, a journey fraught with danger and uncertainty, but also filled with moments of laughter, courage, and friendship. "I never would have made it this far without you two," Fiona said, her voice soft yet sincere. "You showed me that true strength comes not from power or prowess, but from the bonds we share with those we love." Shrek nodded in agreement, a rare smile gracing his lips. "Aye, Fiona. And you showed us that even the most unlikely of allies can overcome the greatest of challenges when they stand together as friends." The donkey chimed in, his voice bubbling with enthusiasm. "That's right, Shrek. Together, we're unstoppable, a trio of heroes ready to take on whatever comes our way." And as they walked beneath the canopy of trees, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey knew that their adventure was far from over. For in the heart of every great quest lies the promise of new beginnings and the enduring power of friendship to light the way. As they emerged from the forest, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey were greeted by a jubilant crowd of fairy tale creatures, who had gathered to celebrate their triumphant return. cheers and applause filled the air as Shrek and his companions were hailed as heroes, their names whispered in awe and admiration. The princess, now free from her captivity, stood by Shrek's side, her hand clasped in his as they basked in the warmth of their victory. Amidst the revelry, a feast was laid out in their honor, with tables laden with food and drink fit for a king. The fairy tale creatures danced and sang, their joyous laughter echoing through the night as they celebrated the defeat of the dragon and the return of their beloved princess. But amidst the festivities, Shrek couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness in his heart. For as much as he reveled in the adoration of the crowd and the camaraderie of his friends, he knew that his journey was far from over. "I'm happy that we were able to rescue the princess and defeat the dragon," Shrek said, his voice tinged with melancholy, "but I can't help but wonder what comes next." Fiona smiled softly, squeezing his hand reassuringly. "Whatever the future holds, Shrek, we'll face it together, as friends, as allies, and as partners in adventure." And as they joined hands and raised their voices in song, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey knew that no matter what trials and tribulations lay ahead, they would face them with courage, determination, and the enduring bond of friendship that had carried them through the darkest of nights and into the light of a new day. As the festivities continued long into the night, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey took a moment to reflect on the lessons they had learned throughout their journey. Perhaps the greatest lesson of all, Fiona mused, her gaze drifting to the stars above, is that true bravery is not the absence of fear, but the courage to face it head-on, even when the odds are stacked against you. Shrek nodded in agreement, his eyes thoughtful. "Aye, Fiona. And I've learned that sometimes, the greatest adventures are the ones we least expect, the ones that challenge us, change us, and ultimately, shape us into the heroes we were meant to be." The donkey chimed in, his voice filled with wisdom beyond his years. "And let's not forget the power of friendship," he said, his eyes sparkling with warmth. "For in the end, it is our bonds with one another that give us the strength to overcome even the greatest of obstacles." And as they sat beneath the starry sky, surrounded by the laughter and the joy of their friends, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey knew that their journey was far from over. For in the heart of every great adventure lies the promise of new beginnings, and the wisdom to carry us forward into the unknown. As the first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey bid farewell to their newfound friends and set off once more into the world. The fairy tale creatures gathered to see them off, their faces filled with gratitude and hope. They knew that although their paths may diverge for now, the bonds of friendship they had forged would always remain strong. "Thank you for everything," the princess said, her eyes shining with tears of joy. "You've given us hope and inspiration to face whatever challenges lie ahead." Shrek smiled warmly, clasping her hand in his. "It was our pleasure, Fiona. Remember, no matter what happens, you are never alone. We'll always be here for you." With one final embrace and a chorus of well wishes, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey set off into the sunrise, their hearts light and their spirits soaring. As they journeyed onwards, they knew that the road ahead would be filled with new adventures, new challenges, and new friends waiting to be made. But no matter where their travels took them, one thing was certain: they would face the future together, with courage, with laughter, and with the enduring power of friendship to guide them on their way. With each step they took, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey left a trail of laughter and joy in their wake. Theirs was a journey that would be remembered for generations to come, a tale of bravery, friendship, and the enduring power of love. As they traveled from village to village, they shared their story with all who would listen, inspiring others to believe in themselves and to never give up hope, no matter how daunting the challenges they faced. And though their adventures eventually came to an end, their legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of all who had been touched by their story. For in the end, it was not the dragons they defeated or the princesses they rescued that defined them, it was the bonds they forged and the lives they touched along the way. And so, as the sun set on their final day of adventure, Shrek, Fiona, and the donkey knew that their journey was far from over. For as long as there were tales to be told and hearts to be warmed, their legacy would live on, a testament to the enduring power of friendship and the magic of believing in oneself. And as they rode off into the sunset, their laughter echoing through the twilight, they knew that no matter where life took them, they would always carry a piece of each other in their hearts. A reminder of the incredible journey they had shared and the countless lives they had touched along the way.